Hi, Maddie. How are you doing today?
Hi, Sophia. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited to be meeting with you today, if you couldn't already tell, because obviously you're a not only just a player on the U19 semi-pro Tigres team, but you're also only 16, which is a crazy accomplishment.
No, yeah, thank you so much. And I'm so honored and happy to meet with you too.
Yeah, of course. So I really want to start off with right now. I want to learn about, how things are going for you right now because I know this is a huge switch from, what you're used to, especially coming from Houston. So, I
hmm
want to start off with what does your typical day look like as a part of this U19 team?
So basically, we wake up around like 5:15, 5:20. We do our normal get ready, brush our teeth, do our hair, all that good stuff. And then we get picked up and then we head to the fields. And around 7, we start and finish up around like 10 times. So, yeah.
Okay. And how often do you have practices? And also like rest days.
Okay, so we train Monday through Saturday sometimes if we don't play on Saturdays, or depending on which days we play, if we're going to travel, through flight, or if we're going to travel through bus or whatever. But just depending on that. But yes, we train every day of the week up until Friday. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. We just train up all every day, all week.
Okay, so on your like recovery days and stuff, how do you go about that?
Okay, well, they give us like 1 to 2 recovery days depending on how hard the game was or if it was like super far away. And we just relax. We stay home sometimes, or sometimes I go out with my family that I have here in Monterrey. But we just try to take it slow, relax, try to recover, not do too much, and try to eat healthy and good as well.
So, like you mentioned, you have family there in Monterrey, but I know that coming from Houston, you also have family here. So, apart from just moving to a completely different country, like what would you say is the biggest challenge that you've faced so far?
It was definitely a huge challenge coming from like the city I've known and lived my whole life, Houston, Texas, all the way over here to Monterrey. And obviously I had visited it multiple times throughout my childhood. But yeah, it was a big change, especially like being only 16, taking this big step and proving myself to like the team and the coaches and everything, just trying to show up and prove myself and get my starting position.
That's honestly crazy to think about, moving someplace so far. How was that like? How did you adapt to that in a way? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Especially like moving into a team where you didn't really like have a bunch of ties.
No, yeah, it was definitely really challenging at first. For sure, this first couple months, it was like kind of hard on me, I'm a very close with my family, so it was hard, being away from them, not seeing them every day. But it was definitely just a challenge that, I had to get through and work through, and now it's much easier. The homesickness, it's not as hard anymore, and I do get to see them more often, so it's been getting better little by little.
That's good. Um, Now I want to ask, how did this opportunity even come about? How did you hear about it? How did you just finally decide that you were going to make this big change?
Hosting like these tryouts for like the national team. And, I was among the few that had been selected. And I was honored to go play in the Supercopa in Toluca, Mexico. And yeah, we played over there against some national teams and other teams playing over there, several Liga MX teams. And yeah, so I was just very lucky and glad to have received the honor and, them picking me. Tigres was one of the teams out of like other teams that had reached out to me, but in the end, it was just Tigres that I was like set on and was really happy to like have been seen and picked.
Yeah. And then finally, I just want to close off on what advice would you give to other younger players who either one dream of playing abroad or even dream of, playing in college or playing like professional in general?
No, yeah, I think it's really just about, never give up. It's never too late to start anything, and you don't have to be the best at all. But as long as you have the drive and desire to be the best, then that's really all you need. And I mean, hard work is always going to outweigh talent, and it's always going to beat talent. So as long as you have that desire and that hunger, most of all, to be the best, then yeah, you have it from there. And really, whether you believe that you can or you can't, you're right. So don't make can't a part of your vocabulary.
Well, thank you so much for this interview. I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. I know it's very busy, as you mentioned. And I hope to see a lot more from you in the future.
No, yeah, thank you so much for having me.